Hey, we're here. All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Let's let the chat fall in. Matter of fact, I'm going to get this tweeted out in case you are wondering who I am. My name is Antonio Bryce. I am the creator of the comic book series brand. We are currently on Indiegogo. We have raised over $71,000. And as a matter of fact, if you want to read brand, you can read the first 21 pages of it for free. There is a link in the description. But also in the description is a link to my next guest books. It is called Magic Cop. Ladies and gentlemen, please please welcome Phil and Brandon Diaz. Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Yeah, thanks for having us on. We're excited to show off the book.
All right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I'm looking at what you guys are laying down. It looks like you have been putting some work in. So how long have you guys been trying to put this together?
Oh man, well, the idea came about. Let's see, the first concepts we were just looking at them, and Brandon had them dated as 2017. So it was originally going to be an idea for a side-scrolling beat 'em up arcade game. So we work
Oh,
in the arcade business and production business of making arcades, video games. So yeah, that's how it came to be. And we're like, oh, like Bad Dudes or Streets of Rage, old games like that.
love those
And
games, actually.
yeah, definitely. Double Dragon, those are all awesome. So I don't know, you might be able to tell, but the way the characters are kind of designed, they're kind of taken from those archetypes from those games. You have your standard hero guy, the partner that's kind of like the clone of him, if he was in the game, and then you have like your big body guy who does more damage than everyone else, and then you have your female character who's maybe she walks faster. So those
Interesting.
are
Okay.
like our four archetypes, and we really went headfirst in developing the game and coming up with a bunch of cool boss characters in this magical world that was kind of twisted in that 80s Miami Vice coastal crime storyline. And then the production never really took off. It was just the two of us that were like just writing stuff down and creating characters for it, drawing up concepts. And so we're like, hey, back in the day, probably like 7 years ago, we started to do the comic thing, very small print, taking books to local conventions with a different IP, and we're like, why don't we get back into that? Because I love writing. Writing is my passion.
No, you're
Brandon is great at graphic design, and he wanted a way to build up his drawing skills better. So what we did is I wrote up basically just like one page and see if we could meld on doing sequentials together. He laid it down, and we just went from there. Took some of the boss characters, made it into villains, and wrote a full script for it. And we've been going strong this whole summer and a little bit before summer.
Yeah, they said in the chat that it would have made it a heck of a Neo Geo game. It's exactly the
Oh,
feel that we wanted to go for.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see Edgar
That's good.
Tarley out there. Yeah, shout out to the chat. I see everybody starting to fall in now. But let me. So you guys have done other books together. I mean, obviously you're brothers, but I
Mhm.
didn't know if there are other projects you guys have collaborated on.
Yeah. How long ago was that, Brandon?
I know the first preview issue of the Silhouette was dated 2010. I
Wow.
believe the first issue came out in 2011, and then the second issue came out in 2012.
Yeah. So we had an IP that we came up with. Like a lot of the stuff we come up with starts as jokes, like when we were young. I mean, and this was 2010, right? So probably driving around just talking crap back and forth to each other, being like, oh, I wonder, it would be cool if we had this character named the Silhouette, and he's like, he's just a shadow. You know how the shadow is a man that can turn into a shadow?
To the shadow,
This
yeah.
guy is just a shadow, and the only basically thing he could do is turn the room totally dark, but then he would be transparent. And it was just like some stupid jokey idea. And then he turned into more of a serious vigilante character that we started making comics and doing, like 50 prints of, and selling them at like Wizard World Chicago. And the way we would do the art is we would get our friends together, take pictures in front of a green screen, and Brandon would Photoshop the actors to look like these characters. So, Silhouette, we had that, and I've been writing him for so long that he's going to be in our next project that we're going to do. So I just paid another artist today for a 4-page short story for the Silhouette. So he's still going strong.
All right. Now, on the screen here, I actually have your Indiegogo. The link, of course, is in the description for Magic Cop. If you guys want to check that out, please do. But I thought this looked really cool here. Is this so Brandon, you drew this right here for, I guess, your intro video and all that?
I didn't draw that piece. That was actually done by Pablo Romero, who has the 100% perfect 1980s style. We just could not pass that up. But all of the
interior... I follow him. I follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, he's phenomenal, and his pieces are just so good. And Phil came across him on Twitter and was just like, we have to have a piece done by him. And it came out so perfect that we had to use it for the cover. But I did all of the I do all the interiors. I do all of like the promo stuff and all of the covers. Like this is what's on screen right now is the cover for the first chapter, because the book is broken down into 4 chapters. And so this is the first chapter, and it's kind of like that metaphorical take on what the chapter is about. So the mermaids are not tiny, which we get a lot. But so this is the cover for the first chapter, and then as the chapters go along, they each have like their own little foreshadowing for the chapter and stuff.
Now I got a bone to pick with you. You know what the bone is, right?
What's the bone?
You done covered up the boobies here. I don't know.
Okay, so for the people who might have that bone to pick, there is in fact right next to that first cover there is the signed book and Naughty Prince edition, which does not have the censorship knife.
So there you go.
You're one of those guys like myself who enjoys the female anatomy, you can have that knife not in the way, and we'll go on from there.
And all those prints you could pick up in the add-on section also.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so let me keep going down because these are interior pages you're showing here, nicely colored. Tell me about your colorist.
Colorist Eugene Bativo. On Twitter, his name is Vegas Day Real. He's an awesome colorist. We just found him through the community on Twitter. He's also the colorist of Hero Blood of Patriots. I know they picked him up. And he's coloring our interior pages. And he also, just today, we released the colors of the Elliot Fernandez cover that is part of our behind the scenes book, which is a supplemental book. And if you keep scrolling down, you'll see those colors right there.
Yes, nicely done. I like that.
Good.
Yeah.
So perfect. Well, whoever grabs that cover is going to be so lucky, because that thing is just a masterpiece.
Yeah. So Elliot, we came to him and he did this beautiful, movie poster-esque cover for our supplemental book. And it is available for purchase.
You actually have the original art for sale.
Yeah.
So
the original art is for sale right there, as you can see the black and white. And the colors are so cool. How he didn't put any line work in the background, and my colors just added the grid in there, just bringing it all together.
Yeah, I thought that was dope. That's why I was like, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many pages? So how many pages is this first issue of Magic Cop?
Yeah, so Magic Cop episode 1 is going to be 88 pages. So we got 4 chapters. It's basically you're getting like 4 issues in a book, and we do plan to do a sequel, and we were kind of playing with that TV element where each book is going to be called an episode. So this is episode 1, Drop Dead Legs. And that ties into the story a little bit also.
Okay, and you say you have a graphic design background. So did you guys do this logo? I really like your logo.
Yeah. I did that logo. Yeah, I do logos and graphic design as just my general profession. So I did that that logo in house.
Yeah, logo is extremely clean, nice logo, great colors on it. I have a thing about stuff like that because I know all the different process I went through trying to get the various logos, not only for brand but for the Akari Press imprint. And so yeah, man. And then Kanan took a stab. Well, he did the brand logo, obviously, that we're using is still we're still using that. That was done by Kanan. Kanan used to do some graphic design, but then, you know, he did the Akari Press logo, the first one, and I was like, something's wrong. It's not quite what I wanted. And then obviously brought in the man, Elliot Fernandez, and he knocked it out of the park. You know, so yeah. Elliot killed it. So I was like, yes, Elliot.
Yeah,
actually, go ahead.
Would I be able to show my screen for a second? I want to do an offer specifically for people watching this stream.
Okay, hold on. Well, let me stop sharing mine, and then I will. If you've got your screen share on, yeah. I can. Boom.
So Vic, Vic King is an awesome artist in the community, and he did the night that we launched. He did this fan piece of Madam Sith, which she's one of the last pictures on our page. She's a leader of a prostitution ring in the city. She's kind of like a Medusa-esque character that they have to take in for questioning. And I mean, he did this fan piece, and it's awesome. Knocked it out of the park here. And we're actually working with him to make prints for anyone that backs the book while tonight while we're on this stream here. You'll get a free print if you back a physical copy of the book.
Ooh, okay, I like that. And let me see. I got $2 super chat from Raging Golden Eagle for $2. And he goes, nerds. And by the way, I will be live on Raging Golden Eagle's channel tomorrow night. I think that is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Myself and some unknown person by the name of Kanan White, we will both be on and hopefully have a lot of fun. Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. So appreciate him extending the invite. I'm very much looking forward to it. But let me see here. I've got some questions in the chat. So let me see. Matt Kimball says, hey, Akari and friends, I'm a creative working on my own projects, mostly games, that kind of thing. And promotion is a huge struggle for me. It sounds like you've been very successful with that. Well, you guys are, let me see, you're at what, like, you're only trying to raise 3,000 and you're at 1,303 right now, according to what I am seeing. What all have you, because I kept hearing about Magic Cop for months before you launched. That's so awesome. You know, I remember you even met Phil, you even met Ethan up in Chicago, didn't you?
Yeah, Brandon and I went to he was here for Star Wars Celebration.
Am I wrong on that, or
No, yeah. Can you hear me? You good?
Okay. I was like, okay.
Did we freeze?
There might be some rubber banding going on.
Yes.
Sorry about that. Yeah. We went.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. I was like, yeah, you had been. That's why I was like, you had been working the promotion. Yeah, I was like, I didn't know. I was like, did we robot? Because I know it's like. Okay.
Yeah, we met Ethan and Elliot was here for C2E2 also, so we met Elliot a while back.
You can dance if you wanna. Oh, no. I was like, it's robot.
Are we good now?
I could hear you.
I remember. Yeah, he met Nasser and a couple other people. I remember. Yeah, right. Elliot was up there chilling up there at C2E2. How was that, by the way?
It was good. I mean, I go every year. I know that.
Oh no, I hate when the technical difficulties pop up. But how was C2E? Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh no, wait a minute.
I don't know.
I'm still moving. I see the screen moving.
There's a big delay.
Okay, it's like feels freezing. I'm like, he's like,
how am I? Can I answer your question?
I'm like, okay.
probably not.
Maybe. I feel like we have a pretty big delay here. But yeah, C2E2 was awesome.
Okay,
There
yeah,
was
I was like,
a lot of
all
cool
this
stuff to
is...
see, and Phil was doing a lot of promotions.
Yes, yes, please, yes.
And
No.
And then yeah, we did. We met Ethan at some Star Wars signing. I think he was doing for
Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah, Star Wars Celebration when they were having that meetup. So we went out there, and then we invited him to the arcade. We don't own the arcade, but we invited him over to the arcade because we work with the arcade. And but unfortunately, everybody was so drunk that they couldn't make the 25 or 30-minute drive out to the arcade. So we all went and had pizza instead. But that was really cool because, yeah, we were working a lot of pretty heavy front end promotions because it is really important to get your name out there and, make sure that everybody's going to have that name recognition as soon as you are able to launch. So yeah, the Galloping Ghost. So in the chat, we don't own the arcade, but
So wait a minute, did you have pizza with either Van Skyver or Elliot, or?
I didn't eat any pizza because it was already
Neither
like
did I.
1 o'clock in the morning. But
We all went to a pizza place.
Yeah, we all went to this pizza place that
yeah.
was not too far from the bar that they were doing the signing.
Anna
at.
was there. We met Anna and Jesse from Mindless Entertainment. All the guys. Jeremy was there too.
Phil beat her in arm wrestling.
Oh yeah, I tweeted out also a video of me beating Jesse Milestone in arm wrestling. It's pretty good.
Oh, dude, Doc Matthew
Was
Fowler?
that
That's
pre?
Awesome.
Was that pre or post Jeff?
I was like, Jeff was there.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Fowler. I see that, Mr. Fowler. A lot of. Yes, I saw a stream where I guess it was all the high council people. It was Jeremy, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, and then Jeff from World Class Bullshitters, and of course Ethan, and then I saw Jesse and Anna, and just a whole cast of characters. So
in fact, I gave
it looked
Ethan
like it was a fun time. That place was packed.
Live super chat.
There you go.
Yeah, that one was awesome.
Okay.
That was a good one. But yeah, we had a lot of like.
I was watching that. Yes,
yeah,
I was watching the stream. Yes, I saw that.
And then from there, we've just been doing like Twitter promotion, and just talking and getting into groups and trying to go on some streams and things like that, and trying to get the word out because it is a lot of fun, and you got to make sure like. As cool as your comic book might seem, or as much work as you're putting into it, if nobody knows about it, nobody can buy it. So, you gotta also like, it's important to be the creative one, but you also have to have that business sense of making sure that you're out there promoting your thing and taking down as much information as you can and making sure that everybody knows what you're doing because, otherwise you're just some guy doing something at your house and nobody's ever going to see it.
So let's unpack that. So like I said, I started hearing about Magic Cop a few months ago, right? So guys would show up in the chat, there'd be a super chat like Magic Cop coming on Indiegogo, and I was like, okay, cool. Damn. Even like when I had Ethan on, I got a super chat, Magic Cop is launching on the 19th. Damn. And I was like, okay. And that was smart because, there was like over 300 people in the chat. So I was like,
right.
And, that buy comics and read comics. So
right.
That's, I definitely thought that was smart. What do you guys have? YouTube? What other kind of social media are you into?
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel, which is fortunately now we gained over 100 followers. So I think we're at like 150 or something like that.
Sweet.
We are fortunate enough to have youtube.com/Zade Comics. And we do a video almost every weekday and sometimes on the weekends too. And basically what we do is we always do a video on Monday to highlight Magic Cop Monday, to give a lot of progress updates, cool stuff that we're doing in there. If I have like art projects that I'm working on, things like that, to kind of let the Zade Comics fans know what's going on with us and keep up with everything. And then for the interest of gaining other followers, we do a lot of videos for like movie news, video game news, because we work in the video game industry as well. And so we have a lot of like, we get a lot of news about stuff, you know, especially like Mortal Kombat stuff or, you know, things like that. And so we talk about some topical news things and also movie reviews. Phil was doing a really nice line of statue reviews. He has a really awesome statue collection. And so he does statue reviews and comic book reviews too. So we cover a really nice range of pop culture topics without getting too ridiculous or argumentative or anything like that. So that's been a really nice way for us to get out there and get Magic Cop in like the minds of the people too. And kind of what is really important that we find, especially with our experience with the arcade and the video game scene, that it's very important for the most part. I mean, some people make it so that you don't have to do this, but we feel like it's really important to have the personal name recognition, and you can recognize the person and connect with them. And so that's why we, you know, when you go on streams, we have our cameras on, we do our videos, you know, we're in the camera, we're talking directly to the viewer. We feel like that connection is really important. And it's what we try to do in all of our videos, all of our streams and everything. And that's, you know, why we feel like, you know, that's a nice way to get the product out there to the people.
Yeah.
I feel like Mike Wazowski here. I'm on the stream.
Your face covered.
Yeah. Okay, so this is not a Magic Cop thing. This is a Galloping Ghost related question. So yeah, we work for Galloping Ghost Productions, and
Definitely agree with that.
The question is, are you the guys that made the Mortal Kombat style game with Doc as a character? Yeah, we're working on a game called Dark Presence, which is a Mortal Kombat style fighting game with 2D live actors. So yeah, we do. I do the art for the game, and Phil does the video editing. Which is so it's a lot of it's cool, and it affords us a lot of valuable stuff that we could use in the pursuit of having a really awesome comic book company. Dude, yeah, send us you know, hit me up on Twitter, or you know, hit us up on Twitter or something, or YouTube. Send us a message. We'll do all kinds of stuff. We love helping out people. Sure. That's the way you make progress.
Well, as do I. So let me see. David L. He says, "Is Magic Cop funding yet? If not, what's it? What is it? And let's see some art." So okay, I just had it up on the screen, but well, let's go back to it. It's actually, if I can get this off.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's talk about
hopefully do some Magic Cop. Let's actually boom and get it to pull up. Okay. Hopefully it is showing. It looks like. Are we there? Is everybody
not showing yet?
Looks like it's loading.
Loading.
Did I lose everybody? No. Hopefully it's running. Okay. Okay, but can you see it? Is it pulled up?
Almost. There we go.
There we go.
Phil, Brandon, anybody?
Yeah.
This is like.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I was like, oh man, I was like, what's going on?
There's so much rubber banding right now.
All right. So here is Magic Cop, which, like I said, you're at 1,300. Oh no, is it? Can you hear me? Is everybody?
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, this thing is possessed. What's going on? But I wanted, hopefully, you guys can hear me. And so I've got, here's your featured perk here, the signed book and the behind the scenes comic. You've got it for $45. I don't know what your shipping is running like on that, but obviously the cover for the behind the scenes book is done by some person by the name of Elliot Fernandez, and which I love Elliot. He is awesome.
Maybe you've heard of him.
But tell me about that. That is your featured perk.
Yeah, so you get the 88-page graphic novel. It's basically 4 issues of a self-contained story.
Did I lose the Diaz?
And
oh,
and
this is
yeah, so the self-contained story, we wanted to pace it like an episode of a TV show. So, you have it. It's just you just read that. If you don't want to read the next one, you don't have to. But there's going to be more, and it'll over arc. The bad guy gets caught, and then you also get the behind the scenes book. Now, what's in there is we have our 12-page pilot issue, which acts kind of as a trailer to the book. So you get the foundation of the world we're living in, where magic is everywhere, and then also in that book we have concepts from the arcade game that we were developing, stories of how we, the process of creation, some script clips in there, just, basically behind the scenes.
We have some character sprites we could put in there too.
Yeah, character sprites from the game. So.
And when you get a chance, tell about the story about how it's not like a mystery crime novel. I think that's a really cool take.
Yeah. So we did some research. We watched a lot of Miami Vice growing up. It was my dad's favorite show. And, as a writer, I realized that the stories in each episode in that show specifically wasn't really a mystery. You have some crime shows and they're mysteries. You don't know what's happening. You have to, the audience has to figure it out themselves. But in Miami Vice and in Magic Cop, I tried to put this in there. It basically has a formula of, here's your characters. It's a very character-driven story. You have your main characters, and then they have a criminal that they have to catch. So the audience finds out who that criminal is with the characters, and it's basically the journey of them catching them. There's not really a mystery. It's like, wow, this guy's a bad guy. This is what he's doing. And here's how our heroes are catching that guy. And then, that allows me a lot of space to explore the magical world that these guys are living in.
And you don't get caught in some like redundant mystery story either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You there, Antonio?
Okay. So you got a signed book here. Okay, that's your feature perk is the book in the behind the scenes book, and then you got the signed book by itself for $25. And okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. All right, you got digital Magic Cop for $25. So that's just the digital copy for $25. Explain.
So for people that
how many pages is Magic Cop, by the way?
So the page count is 88 pages, and I know a lot of people don't want to deal with the shipping overseas.
Oh no.
So we kept the digital copy there for people that want to grab it overseas. Still $25, and you don't have to. That's a way to get around the $10 shipping that we have domestically, and overseas is $15. So we talked to John Malin about that. He says that really you only ever need to do $10 for anywhere in domestic, and $15 in going overseas.
There's those naughty prints for you.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Did I lose? I don't know what's going on. Oh, okay. So so $45 signed book and the naughty prints. And this is what you were telling me about, where the little knife here is going to be
so every
removed?
every cover has an alternate version that I draw first, and then it's censored. So there is the uncensored version of the piece of art. So she's topless, laying on the cutting board there, and then the second cover, all of the mermaids are not silhouetted out, and then the third cover, it's the same. It's the same basic principle. The fourth cover is actually we don't show the fourth cover because gives away part of the story. But yeah, those come with 11 by 17 naughty cover variant prints for those of us who enjoy the finer things in life. And then 2 signed books. We feel like that's important because there are a lot of people who like to,
which I am one of.
yes. A lot of people like to hang on to one copy and then sell another one on eBay, or like they have 2 copies, or
for those
whatever they do with the
collectors.
second book. They have 2 rooms in their house, one, a book for each room.
Yeah.
There you go. And you said 88 pages. Is that not correct?
That is correct.
88 pages minimum. It might be more.
It's going to be more because I'm not accounting. Like, that's 88 pages of story. So, those chapter covers are going to add some. And, by the time, we get through with the campaign, we might have some more.
Yeah. And there's some like post-credit sequence stuff that might go in there.
So
you might be up to adding pages as your stretch goals increase or all that?
That's actually true. We thought about a pretty big stretch goal to add actually a smaller short story, but that's going to be up there, and we would, this is a Grey Wolf heavy story, which is Magic Hop's partner, and he has a lot of backstory in this world that to tell the audience why he is stuck perpetually in this wolf form because he is a wolf man. So something happens in his life that is tragic, and he gets in this slump where he just sees no reason to be happy anymore. He doesn't care about his job anymore. He used to be a very decorated detective, and now he's down on himself, and he's just, in this wolf form. So we might explore his, a short story with him in an extended short story, and if we reach, a high stretch goal.
Okay, so you have the book and the behind the scenes book and the prints. So you get the Magic Cop comic, you get the behind the scenes comic with the Elliot Fernandez cover, and the set of the prints, all for $65.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. Basically self-explanatory too. And the great thing about Indiegogo is now they have add-ons, so we could add those prints to any section.
Retailer pack. Okay, so you got the retailer pack.
Mm-hmm.
For how many comics is in the retailer pack?
This is 5
comics, and then there's going to be an exclusive, not available any other way, retailer pack poster that's just a completely original piece of art that's not in any other available package or anything like that. So if you are a retailer or somebody who has 5 rooms in their house and you want this exclusive poster, you can get this poster with the retail pack. We're going to be doing updates too. I'm drawing all of that promotional stuff daily, and we're putting up updates all the time. And so you can check those things out as, if you don't want the mystery, if you're going to hold out to see what those posters are.
Okay, now this one is something interesting here. You've got, it's $300, executive producer and a jacket. So tell me about that.
Yeah, so this one, okay. Yeah, sure. So our executive producer tier, you get the 88-page book, and you get the behind-the-scenes book with the Elliot Fernandez cover. And on top of that, you get your name credited as an executive producer on the book. There's 2 available, and like most TV shows, our intro to the book has kind of like an opening credits sequence. So on each panel, we are naming, myself, Brandon. We have different roles in making this. I think Brandon is credited as the costume designer and set designer because he's the artist, and I am credited as the screenplay writer. We actually have for our trailer we had a guy named Vosto made an awesome track for Magic Cop, and he's going to be credited as the music guy in there. And so you will be credited as an executive producer. I think it's on page 3. And along with another lucky person that bought it. And on top of that, you get this awesome 80s retro high-vis windbreaker that has Magic Cop on the back of it. It says Zaid Comics on it, and it's going to have your name embroidered on the front.
Kind of like a members only production team member jacket.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, how did you get this? Because I was like, yeah, printing merchandise can be rather costly. That's why I was like, how did you pull that off?
So I have an explanation about that. So uh, due to the place that we work being a conglomerate of many hats, we have a print house also, and so we can print large format stuff and make T-shirts and embroider stuff and all kinds of other things. So basically, all of that stuff, all your posters, all of your prints, your T-shirts, and your jackets and stuff are all coming directly from us via the facility that we work with. So we are very fortunate to be able to have the possibilities to even do any kind of crazy creative stuff like this. And that's why we could offer it, at such a reasonable, like obviously an executive producer tier is costly and stuff because you're buying into the book, but like producing the jacket and stuff is very, very cost effective for us, even to the point where the retro 80s colors jacket would be exclusive to production team members and executive producers, but there is the possibility of making a members only jacket in black or something like that to be able to sell on our merchandise store, which we do have as well.
Okay. And here is the final tier here, which is one of a kind, both books, and the original cover art to the Magic Cop behind the scenes book
Yeah.
that was done by my dear friend Elliot Fernandez. $700, only one.
There is only
it's not
one.
been claimed yet, so it is still available. If anyone has a few extra shekels, wants to grab that.
Yeah, he was live streaming on Instagram last night, I think it was, and I stopped in there and he still has the art and he was showing it off, getting really tight in close, saying he was using some different nibs that, trying out new techniques of drawing, and just the shading and hatching on that piece is just awesome. Like just carving into the sunglasses to make the glare happen. It is just really, really cool.
We do, I noticed in the comments, I don't know if I'm supposed to be reading comments or not, but
well, you're being, yes, please.
One person says, I wonder if you have a soundtrack for this too. In fact, we do. As Phil was saying before, we contacted a guy named Vosto, who's just really awesome in the Comics Geek community. He does some really cool music, and he did a custom synthwave piece specifically for Magic Cop, which has a very, very Jan Hammer Miami Vice feel to it. And it's actually in our trailer video. So if you go to the Indiegogo page, you can watch our trailer video, or you could go to the youtube.com/ZadeComics. And the trailer video that's playing in the background as Phil did this amazing piece of cinematics for the trailer, showing off the art and stuff in the comic book. So definitely check that out because he did such an awesome job. Like our expectations were met insanely.
Yeah, it was really cool.
And he did, what was the other?
He did Monster MD's track.
Yeah.
They did a theme for that for his trailer, and Deathsworn.
Yeah, he's getting all around. It's awesome. He's doing a really awesome job.
Interesting. And also, I wanted to say hello to Miss Mandy Summers, who is in the chat. North the Wizard, which is also funding on Indiegogo. She's been knocking that thing out, and had her on about a month ago, maybe a month and a half, and she was a fun guest. Looking forward to having her.
Yeah, she's the firecracker for sure.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I like her. Yeah, she cool peoples. But so you say there's going to be more Magic Cop. So how far along into this particular book are you?
So as far as production on this, everything is completely written. Everything is completely scripted. And right now I am just doing the penciling and inks page by page as I go along. We have a huge workload on stuff, and getting all this other promotional art out is, for one of the things, for the one guest that had the question about running a project or something like this, I found that it's very important, and we didn't know this early on, but it's very important to get your promotional stuff out there before anything else. And so now it's kind of a scramble to make sure that I can get all these stickers drawn and get all these posters and everything knocked out even before I finish up drawing the pages. And that's pretty much what I'm working on right now. But next week, it's going to be back to the grind of getting on those pages and just knocking them out as quickly as possible, but obviously maintaining the quality.
Brandon is almost done with the first chapter, penciling and inking.
Really close with the first chapter.
Yeah.
And then, from there, we have, I don't even know how many characters, because when we were developing it as a game, obviously you have your main characters, but then you have to have as many levels as you could think of. And so with these levels, we had boss characters and sub bosses and character final bosses and then level bosses and stuff. And so we have so many really excellent fleshed out characters and fleshed out storylines for them and how they would fit into the Magic Cop universe that there's already a second book in pre-production, meaning, how we would basically have it like being plotted out and writing some like basic storyline potentials. And then there are we plan on making Magic Cop for many, many episodes.
Yeah.
So, and then there are the possibilities of the express issues, which are like the 12-page shorter issues that just kind of do a little bit of a dive into a specific character or a specific incident that would happen.
Okay. And you're actually doing this traditionally? You're not doing it digitally?
No, I'm doing it digitally.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I have to do it digitally just because of the amount of effort it takes to draw stuff for myself. So everything is done digitally. So I have a Wacom Mobile Studio Pro, and it's just awesome. It works out really well for me.
Right. So
the drawback for that, though, if I might continue, is that there is no traditional art from me to sell, which I feel pretty bad about because that stuff moves a lot and people are really into buying original traditional pieces for a book that they like so much.
Well, I mean, you're still drafting pages. You could put a perk up there where you say you only want to do 5 or 6, 10 pages.
That's true. That's
true. Could add it because I will tell you, Kanan, he bitched at me when I suggested, I was like, hey, we could put original art page up. He's like, I'm a digital guy. And he was like, I was like, well, we can charge $500 for the pages and you'll get a nice chunk of that money.
And they move.
Ended up selling 13 pages.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, he was. So although when I talked to him about because we, like I said, of those 13 pages, he has drawn 10 of them. We've still got 3 more to go, which I know the 3 pages that are going to be the traditional pages. But yeah, every time I talk to him about it, because then he has to go back and scan the page and then digitally ink it.
Right.
So it's a process, and he does not enjoy it. But I said, you didn't enjoy it, but you liked the money that I gave you. And he was like, I did like the money.
Money's good, and satisfying the fans is awesome too, because they're the ones that you have to back. They're backing you, and you got to back the fans.
Yeah,
so that's awesome. I might do that. I might go and traditionally pencil out the 4th cover. I think that would be awesome.
Ooh,
yeah,
cool.
and obviously you can sell covers as a premium. You can, but like I said, you can say you pick 5 or 10 pages. Like, okay, hey, give me $500, $400 for this page.
In fact, I know which 4 pages I would traditionally draw. Yeah. So yeah,
that's cool.
So that's what I'm saying. It's possible. You're still in the beginning stages of it. So you can pick that up and like say your funding goal of only 3,000. It's not that high. You're almost halfway there. So
we're gonna reach there. We set it low so that we could reach it and then satisfy the production costs and stuff like that. But then, keep the ball rolling with in demand and stuff like that so that we could keep reaching more and more fans because, we haven't been in the Comicsgate scene or like the YouTube scene or anything like that for that long. And so it's, it's kind of a process to be able to find fans and build things up. And so the longer you could stay out there and, have some FaceTime with everybody, that's why we chose that.
Absolutely. And I see I've got a comment from Mighty Geek Studios in the chat. He says fans will buy all of the original art for their favorite comic books.
Yeah, that is obvious.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't sleep on them dollars. And then we've got Matt Kimball in the chat. He says my stream is very small, but it's very focused on the creative community. So I'm trying to help promote Magic Cop Song.
That's awesome because those are your hardcore fans right there, and those hardcore fans are the ones that permeate out to your kind of your lesser fans, the people that just pick up comic books because they're cool. And so you really have to focus on those guys. It's just such a great community.
Well, I definitely agree with that. I know as far as brand, because the fans are the ones that put this thing. I've got some hardcore brand fans that are tweeting it every day. They tweet it more than I do. And it's like, it's that kind of thing. They're just trying to make sure.
It's such a cool feeling.
Yeah, and I was like, the fact that I actually have a few people that are fans, and I was like, hey, that's cool, man. Hopefully, as we go along and we finish this project up and ship it out, and then do Brand Way of the Gun sequel, and get. I want, hopefully a lot of those people that backed us this time will come back and support again. And then, and obviously keep having these great creators on the channel.
And it just keeps building.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like when we got that piece of fan art, we've had a couple pieces of fan art and it's always so cool, to see these things come in. And then, what was it, Vic King, right?
Yeah.
He did that one of Madam Sith. And it's like, man, I would absolutely love to have that piece, and it's a traditionally drawn thing, and it's from here. And so,
it's so cool.
It's just awesome. Traditional stuff is awesome. And the fans are so awesome. They're so helpful. And
I know you, Antonio, because, you and I are both writers. It's one thing to see, your character come to life, and especially like you're paying this person to draw, and it's like, man, this is awesome, ripped out of my head onto this page, so cool, the best feeling ever. But then when someone else sees that and is a fan and draws it, and then you see that, you're like, man, someone else thinks this is cool enough to draw, and they're not getting paid to draw this, and they're putting this out into the world, and it came from my head. It's so cool. It's the best feeling.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And sometimes I will say with collaborating with Kanan that he makes me see things differently.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I see it in my head one way. I said one time that Kanan kind of reminds me of like a DP, or so he's like my assistant director or whatever, and I have an idea because when I'm giving him the script, I'm pretty detailed. I was like, okay, so as you're going from panels, I need to see this. I'm letting him know specific things that I need to see to propel the script. And then when he lays it out, it's different. I was like, he got the stuff in there, but it's cool. It's cool to see the way his mind works. And he likes that. He was like, reading the script, it really gave me a lot of freedom. You're letting me know certain things that have to be there, but past that, I'm making all the choices. How am I coming up on this shot? Is it a down? Is it a wide shot? So it's really cool to watch. I like the way Kanan's mind works as far as laying out pages as well. So
yeah, that's such an awesome collaborative effort. Like even Phil and I, going from Phil working his writing with some other artist versus Phil and I working together. We're together all the time. We even work in the same office. And so when we're bouncing ideas off of each other, he has something written in the script, and it's like, oh, how do you want me to shoot this? How do you want me to lay this thing out? And then we go back and forth, and he'll be like, oh, I was thinking this, and then I'll be like, oh, what if we shot it from a dynamic angle and did different things? And when you have one person doing their vision, it's always cool because it's like, oh, look at this is one person's vision, and this is exactly how it came out. But sometimes when you have multiple minds working together, you hammer out some of those things that kind of don't make sense or only make sense to that one person. I'll say something, and then Phil will be like, nobody's going to understand what you're doing with this. That doesn't make any sense. And yeah, it's always awesome to have that connection with your collaborator.
But I definitely agree with that. And that's one thing, because we were talking about fan art, and I had so many different people that were like, are you going to do fan art for Brand? Are you going to do this? And I've had a couple people send me the characters and stuff. What we decided after talking to Kanan is we decided to expand the book from 48 to 52 pages. So we're adding 4 extra pages of story. And I've got the layouts for the next or the final 12 pages. He's finishing inking up those first 10 penciled pages that he did for our backers. And then, like I said, we got 3 more of those that have to be done, but he's going to do those. He's actually these last pages are going to be kind of done out of sequence because he's going to have to do some traditionals. So we've kind of went through, where we think would be good places to pick that looks like a nice page. Let's do that, and then just kind of, but his layouts are very detailed. It's like a storyboard. And so I can actually script to his layout. So I know as I'm looking through the whole book, I'm like, I see exactly how it reads, and I know exactly kind of like the dialogue I want to put in there. So he did a really really good thing the way he laid it out. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah,
I'm excited.
And I read that preview, man. It was really, really cool. That world that you built there. It's awesome. The masks are so cool. And I commented on that the picture that Kanan tweeted of the mask being on his face.
Oh yeah, the merger. Yeah,
I'm like, dude, that's
preview, but
I'm like, that's broken. He could do that. This guy's overpowered, but it's awesome.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, because I know for this we kept some of because I was telling some people like I don't want to read the preview, and I was like, read the preview. It's just a lot of it's just set up. It's just introducing a lot of the characters. A lot of that stuff you will see. I'd say the whole first story, even these last 32 pages, I guess now. It was 28, but the last 32 pages that will be in the book are just introducing, it's setting up this first story arc. It's setting up the Dawn story arc with Fame, setting up what is the Covenant doing, and it's setting up David's storyline with William and this person Jacob that they were looking for. So you will get some conclusions, at least you'll get a definite conclusion to David's storyline, and then you will get a setup for what's happening with Dawn, say in Way of the Gun, and then you will get kind of a cliffhanger thing with the Covenant. So it'll be those 3 stories, and then obviously we'll come back for Way of the Gun, and we'll pick up right, because I told Kane, I said, Way of the Gun, we want to pick up right where it stopped, and then see what happens from there, and just propel it. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm still, almost done with the initial script to send to Kanan and get his thoughts, but he is, because I know there's some really cool stuff that I haven't been able to show everybody yet, which I can't wait for, and just got some amazing colors back on some of the pages last night, and just really excited about this whole process. It's it's great. Creating comics is cool, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a nerd. I don't know.
No,
I like comics.
I feel you. It's crazy. Like sometimes I'll be drawing something and just be like, man, a couple years ago, I wouldn't have been drawing this, and now there's just like this beautiful piece of art on my screen here that I've just been drawing, and it's so cool, just creating something out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You just pour your whole self into it.
And going back on that Magic Cup thing, I see the man Elliot Fernandez is in the chat.
He is in the
Awesome.
chat.
Yes, Elliot is he doing the damn thing. I really liked Elliot's cover.
It's so amazing.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, Elliot, not to mention I love Elliot. Elliot's cool people.
Yeah.
That's my dude right there. So I appreciate him. Let me see where you're at right here because I wanna okay. So I want to see.
Matches Malone keeps asking if somebody's Comics Gate. I'm quite sure he's talking about, though. He's talking about us?
Yeah. Are you Comics Gate? I don't know. But before you answer that, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't ask. I don't.
True.
So let me say that to Matches or anybody else watching. That's not. You don't have to be Comics Gate to come on my channel if I like your project. I mean, let me just say that very clearly because I don't want to. Did you prick your finger and smear it? And all now, even though I'm affiliated with Comics Gate, the channel itself, obviously to have like Jeff Smith or Ann Cinney or Steve Englehart, those people are definitely not involved in Comics Gate. I just wanted them to. I just want to talk about comics, but I am personally in Comics Gate, obviously, but. The channel itself, you don't have to be a Comics Gate creator to come on this channel. Anybody is welcome if I think their project is worth featuring. So I did not ask Mr. Diaz. Mr. Diaz sent me a very nice DM, and we've talked a few times over the months and been in different chats and everything. And he was like, "Hey, I got this project coming out. It's finally about to launch. Is it okay if I come on?" And I was like, "Sure." And obviously, you see them here and there, but I didn't go, "Are you here? Are you this?" Or and that's not how I get down. But obviously, the question's asked. If you want to answer it, you can.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we're Comics Gate. We've been in the community since we've been working on this, and loving the scene, being a part of this community. Everybody helps each other out. It is great. And we wouldn't be on this stream without CG. I wouldn't know about Antonio, or I wouldn't know. I followed him before I got into this, but I didn't know that he was a part of it. And so, being a part of this scene has really motivated us to make this happen. And it's been super fun doing this and showing it off.
Okay, so I see Vinny Art, who has City of
Venus?
Yeah, I had him on. Yeah. Vinny. Was it Tartamelli? I'm probably butchering that, but super cool peoples, and he was on with us, and I enjoyed having him. But he says, Antonio, tell Phil and Brandon to pin their campaign on their Twitter pages so everyone can find it right away. I agree with that. I always try to at least link or have it in my, I know you can click on the bio and get it. But yeah, man, like I said, I just want to talk to cool comic book creators. That's the thing about being in Comicsgate. A lot of us buy comics and we just go, and there's still, I know plenty of CG people that are still going and buying Marvel books. And I don't have a problem with it. They're still buying Marvel. They're still buying DC, IDW, anything. My thing is like, if I'm interacting with a creator on social media, it's like, hey, like I geeked out about a month and a half ago, I tweeted something out and Rob Liefeld saw it and he retweeted it. And I geeked out because I was 14 again. I was like, that's Rob Liefeld and he retweeted me. And I was just like, I freaked out. I was like, oh my God. And I remember before Jeff came on, I sent him a picture of Dawn that Kanan did. It was colored and he was like, that looks really cool. And I was just like, to hear something like that from Jeff Smith, I was just like, oh. I just, like I said, I want to get back to like the more positive things. I want to, I just want to talk about great comic books. I want to have fun and talk to creators. And, that's what I'm about. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, if anybody wants to simply find the campaign page, they could just go to zadecomics.com and there's a link or the button right at the top of the page. You can
Mhm.
click on there and find the campaign. It just directs you right to the Indiegogo campaign page, as well as there's a couple of other buttons for signing up for our newsletter, where you get the 12-page issue digitally for free, so that you could kind of jump into the world of Magic Cop. And then on the other side is our merchandise page.
Yeah.
So you can go and order T-shirts and stuff on there, which you get pretty much, within the week or so. So you don't have to wait until Magic Cop comes out to represent Zaid Comics.
Yeah.
All right. So you seem to have won Matches Malone over. He is digging your spirit. He is getting down with the nitty gritty and feeling what you guys are laying down. So
That's solid.
please, if you've enjoyed this conversation with not Matt, with Phil and Brandon, please, the link is in the description to go to Magic Cop and check it out. Just check it out, man. They're not asking for an arm and a leg, and the books are all going to be signed, and that's going to be awesome.
And if you guys do donate or back a physical copy during this stream, Mandy has the link right there to check out the free print that you'll be getting if you do back a physical copy during the stream. Vic King did an awesome print of Madam Sith. She's a villain in the comic.
Yeah, shout out to Vic for sure, man. But that's the thing, like you said, again, as we wrap this up, if you have a project, and just send me a DM. Now I'm gonna be honest, there's some projects I don't like, and if I don't like it, then I'm not promising you a seat on my channel. I will be honest about that. Now, John Malin is different. Yeah, John Malin is like, hey man, your CG, come on, all that kind of thing. And I was like, I'm not doing that, because I think, and here's a problem I noticed when I first kind of start seeing the spotlight. There were projects that I felt like they needed to cook a little longer. And so I even go back to some of the mistakes I made with the original brand campaign. I was like, I had the art, but the pitch was horrible, and I just wasn't ready. And I understand now why I only made $95. I understand why it failed, even though it was the same thing, So you gotta have your hustle on a little bit better. And I'm looking at you. I'm looking to see what you're doing. I know, especially with Phil. Like I said, I kept seeing him popping up in the chat. He was working it early, and I was like, I respected that. I was like, he's building it up, making sure that he was letting that word be known. Because I knew about Magic Cop months ago. I was like, I kept hearing, I was like, that's the Magic Cop guy. I got you. Boom. I was like, I really appreciated that spirit. So like I said, hit me up if I like it. We can talk. But
that makes me feel better. That's good.
So yeah, like I said, I'm kind of watching, because I see some people and they just I'm like I said, I'm not calling anybody out, but I think some people feel entitled. They feel like, okay, especially within Comicsgate, they feel like, okay, I'm CG and you're not promoting my book or this and that. And I'm like, I see some people, they just say, hey, I'm Comicsgate, and then they don't do the work. So you got to do
you can't
work.
get anything for free.
You got to do. But I mean, what are you doing? I had somebody on about a month and a half ago. So you got a YouTube channel? Not really. I don't really like doing YouTube. What about your Twitter? Yeah, well, I got Twitter, but I'm not really on Twitter that much. And I was like, dude, you try to raise $15,000 and you're not even promoting it on. He's got $15,000 as the goal, and I'm like, I was like, okay, brother. And I noticed. I mean, and what's so bad? I went ahead and I said, okay, let him come on. And I noticed a couple people actually did buy his book while we were chatting, but he didn't hit that. He didn't hit the goal because when we went off the air, I said, you're probably going to have to retool this. You got some problems with your campaign. I was looking at it and you got some problems. And he was like, oh, okay, well, I think we can hit. And I was like, you didn't even come close to hitting it. And I was like, a couple people thought, the art looked okay, but just couldn't talk, couldn't tell me about the book. it was awful. And I was like, yeah, that's what we're doing here. I mean, you kind of, if you can't tell me about your story, I'm like, you wrote it, you drew it, you should tell me what Magic Cop is about. I don't think that's outrageous. So yeah, you should be working social media, networking with people. Start letting people, get you some nice concept pieces together, and if you can afford it, get them colored and make it look as good as possible. I had so much. I probably spent about $5,000 altogether with logos and concept promotional art and all this kind of stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I spent so much money, I couldn't afford Kanan at first. I was like, that's why I had to bring somebody else in, and it was just it was it is what it is. But I mean, I really want to I want when people send me their campaigns all the time, I want to give you that advice, because that's something Ethan stressed to me about. You have to give back some. Don't always take.
Yeah.
And I agree with that.
Definitely.
That's what. Oh, go on.
Oh, I was about to say, Brian M. in the chat, he said Tug is one of the best examples of how to succeed on an Indiegogo campaign. Absolutely. But I would say that, but I also don't want to give that false hope that people are going to raise like $90,000 like Tug did.
Yeah.
Or I've seen people see my campaign. It's like, oh, you raised it. And I'm like, trust me, this is the third one. I failed.
It's the pursuit, man. You just have to keep going.
And that's that passion, right? And that's another thing where I've found, like early on doing this, that as a writer, I can't draw, and the comics is a visual medium, and you need to have those images of your characters, or all you have is just, a Google document that has a bunch of words on it, and you're not throwing a script into a movie producer or whatever. People want to see it as a comic. They want to see the characters. They want to see the pacing that you could, portray. So you got to get that stuff together first. And you have to, if you're someone that doesn't draw, you have to get someone you're going to collaborate with.
Right. So let me see. So we've got Adam Post in the chat. He's got super chat for $2. And I know he's got a project on Indiegogo with
College of the Dead.
College of the Dead. Please, one of the mods drop the link to that in the chat and let people have a look-see at that. But he said the Brother Magic Cop is what CG is all about. I would agree. Let's go to Matt Kimball. And he says, does that mean I finally have to get a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? Laugh out loud. I've been putting it off forever. Well, you do what you want to do, but I'm telling you, it's I remember I talked to someone, and their entire plan for getting a book funded was to have Ethan Van Sciver promoted.
Yeah.
That's it. I was like, no plan. No, and I was like, do you have concept art? Well, I can't afford anything. I said, okay, so you're going to put up an Indiegogo page. You don't even have any art because you're saying you can't afford anything.
Pitch your concept.
Yeah, Ethan, you got a concept. Yeah. And your thing is like, hey, maybe Ethan will put me on, and then, I'll sell $85,000, $100,000. Cha-ching.
Yeah.
Then I'll have that. And I was like, that's not a plan, brother. I was like, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people felt, I was like, you're seeing the end game. For me, there was a lot of struggle there. So, and that's the thing. I maxed my cards out trying to get things funded and stuff. It wasn't, you see it now, we've got nearly 2,300 backers on the campaign, but it wasn't always that. So I would, but yeah. Well, yeah, you got to do some work.
Do the hustle, like you said.
Yeah, the hustle. Speaking of hustling and people that don't know how to pitch their comic, would you mind if I pitch my comic?
Please
awesome.
do.
Yeah, so Magic Cop is a mash between, 1980s Miami Vice and Halloween Town, Monsters and Magic. This story, this 88-page story, follows our new Magic Cop to the city of Ambrosia. His name is Iggy Cromwell. He's right off the graduation stage and into the detective position. He has to learn to work with his on the verge of retirement Wolfman partner. His name's Grey Wolf, as they investigate the murder of a mermaid prostitute. They discover a bunch of skeletons in the city's closet. There's fast cars, hot beach babes, and even hotter crime. The only detective with the spells to stop it is Magic Cop.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, Phil's a fantastic writer.
So, well, there you go. And so, are you going to do anything outside of Magic Cop? I know you say you have, more stories in Magic Cop to tell, but are you going to develop any more stories? Perhaps other collaborations between you?
Yeah. Even before Magic Cop, we tested the waters of collaborating together by Phil writing a script and then myself going off the script with very little help from Phil to put the images down on paper. And so we wrote this 8-page short, kind of comical, old, like Steamboat Willie type or like Roger Rabbit type of humor comic called Ricky Rouse, a completely original character. And so we have that IP as well. And then Phil is taking the old characters from the Silhouette universe that we had, done so many years ago. And he's taking those characters and kind of readapting them into the original storyline, but kind of everything before that. And he's definitely going to tell you about that more, but because he loves talking about it.
Yeah.
But for some of the things, I know we're going to do some projects for, I think, CG Jumpstart, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And then you were trying to get into some of those magazines because we do have some short stories and some things that other stuff that we've worked on previously to kind of get ready for Magic Cop. But Magic Cop is kind of like the feature presentation right now.
Right.
We were just gearing up and building ourselves into a production team so that we can get that feature presentation out with that production quality that we wanted to have. And then here's Phil with more to say.
Yeah, so we're doing Magic Hop right now, and then the next project we're going to do is, like Brandon said, from this old character that I used to called the Silhouette. He has a bunch of different heroes in his universe that I've just been writing, putting down on paper for the past 7 years. So I have these short stories that I'm putting into this book that's called The Lost Pages, and it's basically an exploration of the comic genre. So each character kind of explores a different genre of comic books, and I'm right now working with an artist. His name's Maxi Dallo. He did the art for Jack Irons' Steel Cowboy, which is an indie book right now. Awesome artist. And we're doing 4-page short stories to introduce my characters, and those are going to be put into an ash can with the project, and some of them will be sprinkled out through these different indie magazines that are popping up, like CG Jumpstart. I might do one for Insider, and they'll all be previews for the Lost Pages. I have the original pages of the short story that I have done already for Wildcard that I actually sent you, I think, Antonio, a while ago. So here's this is the first page for that 4-page story. This character, his name's Wildcard. He's an ancient sorcerer that travels, throughout time, lives forever, battling mythical monsters and keeping, mythology in check from crossing over into the real world. And he is, he meets up with the Silhouette later in his life, and there's, a handful of other characters that explore different genres. So this is going to be like fantasy horror. He fights a lot of, horrific monsters and stuff like that. So really excited about that. And our plan for Zaid Comics is doing, Magic Cop, getting that out, and then doing a Lost Pages book, and then doing a Magic Cop book, and then alternating, because between these two IPs, there's so many characters that I just love coming up with characters. So there's a lot to explore.
Interesting. I like that, man. I like this. Like I said, we've got, I know Kanan and I have so many brand stories that we're talking about doing. And then Kanan actually has some kind of it's kind of like a Lord of the Rings elf type project that he was telling me about that he was saying he wanted me to write, and so I was like, interesting.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
so you gotta
That's
add
cool.
somebody. So I was very much I was surprised. I'm always curious at what different artists are into. You know what they what kind of books they read. Like say coming up is Kanan seems to be really into like fantasy type comics or definitely into anime manga type stuff like that. So I was like, it trips me out. I was like, oh okay, I got you. I see you,
Yeah, that's
Kanan.
cool.
But
It'll be interesting, like through, hopefully, if I have a successful career and other people want me to come and write their characters, like how you would be writing something that Kanan comes up with, you know, that's going to be interesting to do because I've never written someone else's something, except for like like I have one fan thing that I just had to plot out. It would be a story if I ever worked for DC with I would do a story with Lobo and Etrigan and John Constantine. So those are some of my favorite characters. I'm a huge Lobo fan. I have like a bunch of Lobo statues and stuff. So
yeah,
here's Lobo right here.
you was
So
just like you just hit me. It was like ding, ding,
yep,
ding. I was in all three of those. So I was like, okay,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, in
man.
Gotham City because Etrigan lives in Gotham and it would be awesome. So I plotted that out. I had to get that out of my system.
Yeah, I was like, I always like to see Etrigan get a little bit more love. I'm a big Jack Kirby fan,
Yeah,
and Jason Blood, the whole deal. So I was like, gone, gone, the form of man,
yeah,
rise the demon, Etrigan. I always loved. Jack Kirby came up with some really cool characters when he got mad at Marvel, and he was like, I'm taking my ball and going home, and he went over to
yep,
DC and then all of a sudden you get the New Gods and Dark Side, and uh,
yeah.
I really thought he came up with a lot of those characters didn't get enough love, obviously. But I see they're starting to pop up. That was the Kamundi, the Last Man, or whatever the little elf boy from the little boy from the future or whatever, where the whole world's kind of went to hell in the handbasket. And I don't know, he came up with
All
some
right.
really cool characters while he was over at DC, and then obviously they didn't sell like they thought it was good. I mean, he went back to Marvel and created the Eternals and all that. It's just I don't know, Jack Kirby's mind. I wish I could have had a conversation with him. I would love to pick that brain. That
Yeah,
seemed like he had a lot of great ideas. Obviously, Stan Lee did too, but it's just the two of them together seem to work really well together. It's a shame how that kind of happened towards the end of his life where him and Stan weren't talking. It's kind of a shame, but big Kirby
definitely.
fan. Kirby is the man. So
Same. Yeah, I love Jack Kirby.
yeah, man. All right. Well, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. So Phil, Brandon, please let us know if I am just happening upon this stream and I had a few extra dollars in my wallet. Why should I back Magic Cop?
Sure. Magic Cop is something that I think hasn't been seen before, especially in the comics medium. It's a collaboration of 1980s crime TV in a fantasy monster world, and if you look through all the comics that are in indie comics right now, you're not getting this flashy action that we're bringing to you. It's 88 pages. You get four, awesome chapters packed with crime, different unique characters from witches, werewolves, leprechaun giants. There's a bunch of wacky fun in this book. The fast cars, awesome art from Brandon and Elliot and Pablo. It's it's a blast, and it's something that we are going to ship, and it's going to be we're trying to make it into a franchise. So there's going to be a second book, and you can look forward to that. And it's for the consumer. That's what we're trying to bring all you guys with Zaid Comics and our comic company is making stories that you guys are going to love, and bring our passion to you.
I like that. Brandon, do you have any closing words, sir?
Brandon, you there?
Perhaps he does not, or maybe.
Brandon.
I just hope that
All right.
everybody enjoys the art and story. I'm having a lot of rubber banding going on with my network right now, so I don't know if you guys could hear me, but yeah, I hope
Can
that you guys enjoy the work and the characters that we've worked super hard to create, and make sure that everybody would kind of have a little bit something for them, going back to the video game design aspect of it, was trying to meet all of the different archetypes of these characters. And so, we're trying to make it so that there's something for everybody in that kind of, in the world that we're creating with these characters. And I really hope that you enjoy them. I hope that you like the art, and I'm having a super fun time creating and getting to see everybody love on the project that we're doing. And so hopefully you guys enjoy it and you want to help out and grab yourself a copy and some of the art that we're producing too, because that would be awesome.
All right. So it looks like Matches Malone is a backer now, and that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. I
Hopefully you heard
appreciate you guys out there that are supporting these amazing creators. Obviously, I'm looking to have more of them on
Excellent. Thank you.
as my schedule allows. But like I said, if you have a project, and at least send me a DM and ask, and we can see about getting you on. We'll work it out as Phil and Brandon did. This is fantastic. But I certainly appreciate Phil and Brandon Diaz for being here today. Magic Cop looks really cool, and I'm very happy to feature it here on the Akari Press YouTube. But with that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. And if you guys want to reach out to me, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and right here on this YouTube channel, everywhere is at Akari Press. And if you type in AkariPress.com, it will take you directly to my Indiegogo campaign for my comic book series brand with the phenomenal Kane White. We're on Teespring. We're on Amazon.com. The links to those are in the description. Guys, get out there, support Magic Cop, support these creators. I'm out.
Thank you.